you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order.
100.
Hello, everyone. It's Atlas here again with my partially regrown beard. And today I'm here to give you a deck profile on one of the coolest, one of the cheapest, and one of the... No, it's not very good. Today, we're talking about...
Jazz Hands.
We're talking about Silhouette Man. Silhouette Man is a deck from Brandt that uses the armed arms along with the Silhouette Man Vanguard in a sort of pseudo-Legion-like strategy. Why don't we take a look at it here? The good thing about this deck is that it is literally $20. I built this whole thing for $20. Stuff may have gone up since I bought the items for the deck. Stuff may have gone down by the time you've seen this. The important thing is that this is a very cheap deck at the time of making this, and as well, that means that there is room for it to grow, which means if you're one of these people who's like, yeah, I want to Philadelphia 76ers this thing, then pick this up for super cheap and then sit on it, and then maybe they make other armed arms in the future. So let's take a look at these cards. Going with the ride line, I normally start with the grade 3, but I'm going to go all the way up because it's a little different. So starting with the Garter Silhouette, when this rides on Silhouette Man, your starter, you search for a Machinery's Factory and add it to your hand. So there's an immediate plus. None of this when this gets rode upon by the grade 2. No, you're getting something for your money immediately, which is this thing. Machinery's Factory is a set order that in your order zone, you rest it, check top 7, look for an armed arms card. That's any armed arms, which means that this means as we get more armed arms cards, try saying that 10 times fast, you can have more targets for this. But for right now, there's only 2 that you're able to find. But you choose up to 1 thing with armed arms in the name. If your drop doesn't have a card with that same name, you put it in drop. If not, you put the card into hand. But if you put it into hand, then you put Machinery's Factory into your soul. You want to be using this to load up your drop zone because the second effect, which is if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Silhouette, you can put Machinery's Factory into soul to call 2 different armed arms cards with different names from your drop. So this is freaking fantastic. The fact that you can just search this turn 1. I had it at 3 because it's useful almost any time of the game. Now you're grade 2. So this one has to be ridden upon. When you ride it with the grade 3 Silhouette, you choose 2 armed arms with different names and call them to an open rear. So it's like that second effectory of Machinery's Factory is just the grade 2. This is a fantastic ride line. It's just that everything else is kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? Like the infrastructure for Silhouette Man is really good. It's just that the stuff it's going for isn't especially good at the moment. So you have 4 copies of Gigant Arm Silhouette. So this is your main grade 3. At the beginning of your attack step. So for people wondering what the attack step is, this is before you rest anything. This is deciding I'm going to declare an attack now. That's the attack step. So before you rest Silhouette Man, before you count any of his power or anything, beginning of your attack step, you Soul Blast, choose 2 rear guards with armed arms and their different names, and attach them to this unit. So what that means is that their abilities, their power, are become part of Silhouette Man for the battle. And then at the end of the turn, they go back as rested rear guards. The other effect is that at the end of the battle that he attacked, you choose one of your units attached and move it to an open rear as a standing unit. So that means that's how you get 4 attacks. You go unit on the left, unit on the right, Silhouette Man, attach both, and then put one of them back. There's 4 attacks. It's very straightforward. It's very run of the mill. The Legion thing can get a little confusing. So let's look at these arms. There's Armed Arms R and Armed Arms L. They both have a van or rear guard effect that when they attack a Vanguard, so for R, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with silhouette, you can counterblast one, choose an opponent's grade 2 or rear guard, and retire it, and this gets 5k for end of the battle. So this means you can use it to kill something and let R hit Vanguard of any power, triggers notwithstanding. This also means that if you do this as part of Silhouette Man's effect, you can you add Armed Arms to Silhouette Man and then use it to kill something and then give Silhouette Man plus 5k. So that's pretty cool. Arguably the better one is Armed Arms L, which is if it attacks a grade 3 or Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Silhouette, counterblast one, draw a card. So this lets you get a lot of advantage. The deck does go through a lot of cards, a lot of counterblast pretty quickly. So that's where things like Bubble Mine come in handy, which let you just countercharge and get soul. And I'm having a hard time describing these are the cool combos you can do with the deck. It's very straightforward. The other thing is, so Habitable Zone lets you, aside from being the ride line helper, if you Persona Ride, you can counterblast, search your deck for a set order, which means you can get your Machinery's Factory, or you can get your one copy of this thing, which is Refurbishment Dock. And if you've done that off of Habitable Zone's effects, you get to play 2 set orders that turn, and you can play the next one for free. So what you want to do is search your Refurbishment Dock, which when you play it, you draw a card, and then all of your grade 2s get boost, which means you can now stick your Habitable Zones in the back. You can stick any extra arms in the back, and all of a sudden they're 10k boosters. I tend to put Habitable Zone just behind Vanguard, so then it's hitting for 23k, 28k, depending on with Persona Ride and things like that. It can get pretty big pretty fast. Most of the time, your opponent is taking the Vanguard because it just gets so big. Like, they'll burn through perfect guards very quickly. The other main rear guard is Rodney, Bustling Mechanic Rodney, which if your Vanguard was attached with something this turn, it gets plus 10k. So as soon as you use Silhouette Man's effect, bam, it's online. This also means that you can attack with, let's say you only have one of the arms. You go attack with the arm, attack with Silhouette Man, attach just one of the arms, which puts Rodney online to hit that plus 10k. And then afterward, you put the arm back, and there's 4 attacks still. So he's useful in either the front or the back. Obviously more in the back because of that second effect, which is in the back at the end of the battle that your Vanguard with Silhouette in its card name attacked a grade 3 or greater Vanguard if you have no rear guards in the front row. So keep in mind that when your arms are attached to Silhouette Man, you don't have any rear guards in the front anymore. So if you do that, you Soul Blast and stand Rodney. That means that you can then have Rodney be an 18k booster for your arms as they come off the Vanguard, which means they can hit over triggers. So real solid card. It's not really especially flashy or anything, but it's, solid card. In terms of triggers, you got your, you got your OT, you got your heals, your draws, your crits, your PGs. You have Sanctitude because duh. You have the Cup. So here's the thing with Persona Ride. So Persona Ride affects your, plus 10 to all of your units, right? So when you attach a boosted arm to Silhouette Man, it is still, it counts that toward the total. So let's say you have Silhouette Man in the center and you have R and L on either side. The Persona Ride turns it from a 13, a 10, and a 10 to a 23, a 20, and a 20. That means that when you attach those to Silhouette Man, it goes from 23 to 43. And that's not even counting doing, Armed Arms R's effect. So that is a lot of power coming off very quickly. That also includes front triggers. So if you do a front trigger, it counts that toward the total. So it goes from, instead of going 13, 23, 33 on like a normal turn, it turns that into a 63 because it's including all 3 units, which is kind of neat. Attaching is a little bit of a weird mechanic just in general, but yeah, I know this is a very almost boring deck profile, but I think it's one of those things where if you are a Vanguard player who is thinking, well, the game looks interesting, I want to build something that's unique, but I don't really want to spend a lot of money, this is the perfect deck to pick up. At the time of recording this, it's November 7th, 2023, which means that you can sit on this for a while. You'll probably have a good time with it. As Brandt gets more generic stuff, it also gets more and more interesting. So if you like that, leave a like, leave a comment below, patreon.com/Nexus at night. I hope you enjoyed this this deck profile, and remember,
Jazz hands.
see you next time.